the door that finally opens with light flooding and spilling out on the floor.
What's up, Kryptonians? Today we're going to be talking about Raised by Wolves, which is a new sci-fi series. It's a series that was created by Aaron Guz something. It starts with a G, I know that. Actually, somebody in the comment section just save me from myself and tell me what the name of the person who created this series is. I know his name is Aaron. Either way, yeah, Aaron created it. Ridley Scott is producing it, also directed the first 2 episodes, and it recently had its season finale. It wrapped up its first season on HBO Max, where it is still streaming. You can go check it out. For the record, this video will be spoiler-free. There's not going to be any spoilers involved with this video because I know that a lot of people haven't had a chance to see Raised by Wolves yet, and so I don't want to be insensitive to those people. I want you guys to go check it out on HBO Max and then come back to this video and let me know if you vibe with some of the thoughts that I'm going to be giving to you guys. So if you don't know anything about this series, the basic premise is that there are 2 androids that are on this alien planet called Kleber 22 or something like that, and they're raising this colony of human children. These androids are called Mother and Father. Mother is the more powerful one. She is a reprogrammed war android from a religious war that took place on Earth a while ago. There was some kind of religious war that tore Earth apart, so she was reprogrammed and sent to this planet so that she could basically save the rest of humanity. While they're on this planet, not only do Mother and Father have to undergo their own individual challenges with these children, as well as with each other, as well as with the mystery surrounding this planet that they're on. There are some people that were a part of that religious war that have come to this planet, and so it creates an interesting situation for everybody involved. It's really all I'm willing to say without getting into spoilers, and so what I will start off with is I'm actually a big Ridley Scott fan. I'm not a fan of everything that he's done film-wise. I'm well aware that he has his fair share of crap stains on his resume, but for the most part, when the guy is on, he's great, and he's come out with some of my favorite films of all time. Gladiator, which is a Ridley Scott movie, is in my top 3 or top 2. I'm pretty sure it's like my second favorite movie of all time. I love Gladiator. That's a Ridley Scott movie. That should tell you how much I love this guy when he's at the top of his game. I know I've told you that he executively produces this series and he does direct the first 2 episodes, but even putting that aside, this would feel like a Ridley Scott series even if I didn't know that Ridley Scott was involved with this series. Everything about this series, from the look and feel of it, the aesthetic, the cinematography, the tone, like everything about this series screams Ridley Scott. His fingerprints are all over this series. His signature is all over it. There are definitely moments and some sets and some production design and some stuff, some references in the show that definitely will remind you of some of the previous work that he's done in the sci-fi genre. This show is just so well done from a filmmaking standpoint that it just reminded me of why I've changed as a person. You know, I used to be a lot more open with the TV shows that I consumed and that I binged or that I committed to watching, but now I'm a lot more particular, and it's because of series like this. We live in a golden age of TV where I can no longer watch TV with an open mind and just like forget all of the flaws that I noticed because, hey, it's TV. They didn't have the money, they don't have the time, and maybe stuff happened and they couldn't get it done the way they did. No. I can't do that anymore because of the age we're living in. The TV shows that I've been exposed to, even in the last decade, I mean, we're talking cinematic level quality. The cinematography, the editing, the direction, the camera work, the acting, the writing, the production value, like all of that, especially in this show, is cinematic quality. Like you watch this show and you feel like you're watching a movie sometimes. Just a reminder to me that I've become an elitist snob who I can no longer settle for less. I can no longer take shows that are made on lesser networks and be like, oh yeah, I like this show. And be like, nah, well, we'll see. But if it doesn't give me that same feeling, I kind of just lose interest with it after a while. I'm sorry, that's just who I am now. Actors, the actresses involved with this project, everybody killed it in the show. Oh, okay, I should say mostly everybody. There are some iffy parts with some of the children in the show, which you have to accept because sometimes kids are not always put in the best position to be good actors, and sometimes the line delivery and sometimes something can feel off with kids, so you kind of give them a break for that. For the most part, the performances all across the board are terrific here, especially the people that play the androids Mother and Father. In fact, Mother basically steals the whole show. She's captivating. Every scene that she's in, the actress portrays this android with such realism. Like, you definitely know you're watching a robot, and the show definitely reminds you several times that you're watching a robot. So convincing, you just forget sometimes. You're like, okay, so I know that this is an actress portraying a robot. What if this is actually a robot that we think is an actress, but it's actually a robot in disguise? I'm not entirely sure how I worked a Transformer reference into this video, but Let's just chalk that up to me being weird or me being lame or whatever. Let's just move on with our day. Not only was she great, but the android, the actor who plays Father, I have forgotten a lot of the names in here, so I do apologize, but the actor who played Father, he's great too, because he's an android who's on this planet with Mother, and he's basically, his job is to assist her in a lot of the things that she does. She's like the badass, like the protector, and his job is to provide and to take care and to nurture. Father was great. I especially love like the way that he was programmed to have like this weird human sense of humor. He has a lot of really corny ass jokes. I'm gonna just let you know that right off the bat.
What kind of musical chairs do birds play? Duck, duck, goose.
I shit you not. There are jokes like that from Father throughout the entire show. You're just gonna have to get used to it. But really, like I said, everybody in the show is great. The performances, this is some of the best acting that you'll see in any TV series all year long. There's this one guy who I know is the main guy off of Vikings. I think his name is Adam Fimmel. I can't remember if that's actually his name. Please help me out, guys. I'm sorry that I keep forgetting. It would have been easy for a show like this to make the android storyline with these kids on this planet, to make that the most interesting storyline on the show. You do feel like you're the most invested in that because of Mother, because of Father, because of the things that they go through with these kids, and because of the performances and stuff. But really, they do a great job at balancing it out, because there are plenty of other storylines with other characters in the show that you also feel entertained and invested in. This religious faction that makes it to this planet, you're interested, you're intrigued, and that's another thing that the series has going for it. It has plenty of great intrigue out there for you to latch on to. Some people are going to complain about the pace of the series. They're going to say it's slow pace, slow burn, whatever. And yeah, definitely there's some of that. So if that's not your thing, you might check out after an episode or two, but really, I don't think you will. I think there's enough, even in the first couple episodes, that are really going to get you hooked and get you interested. There's so much intrigue and compelling material to work with in this story. There's a lot of mystery here. There's a lot of things that you don't understand about this religious war on Earth that got these characters to this point in the story in the first place. But there's also a lot you don't understand about this planet. This planet is big and it's huge, and the world building is on point, and there's just so many questions that you have about things that are happening, creatures that are on this planet. There's so much you don't know. Story might go in an unexpected direction. You might think it's going one way, but it actually goes another. It's really good storytelling on display here. It's also really frustrating because by the time you get to the end, I feel like almost none of my questions have been answered. I have a lot of interesting questions, and you kind of sort of hinted at the answers, but you didn't necessarily give me those answers. It's also a great thing too, because it sets up for a great season 2, and we feel like maybe some of our questions will be answered in season 2. But that is one of the core elements of the show that made it almost impossible to take your eyes away from. There is a negative that you actually can focus on that's like a real tangible thing, is that in a show like this, there are some characters that feel like they're shortchanged. They don't get as much development. They don't get as much time. So sometimes when they are involved in some of the bigger scenes in the show, it's hard to really care that much about what's going on. It's just what it is. There are some characters that are going to irritate you. Some characters are going to make decisions where you're going to be like, yo, why are you being such a bitch right now? But I suppose that's a thing that you could say for every show. High-level sci-fi that not only deals with some concepts about humanity and robots and androids and what is in a soul that we've seen before, it also adds a religious angle to it that I don't think a lot of people have seen before. And it definitely makes you think about some of the inner workings of religion and what that does to human beings and things that people believe in depending on who they are or where they came from. I think all of that is handled in a really interesting way, and it's interesting to see the way that it affects the characters. You guys know I'm a sucker for great sci-fi. We might have the next great sci-fi on our hands here with Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves was a great first season on HBO Max. I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's dope. It's definitely worth watching, and I think a lot of people, especially if you love sci-fi or if you love Ridley Scott, you're definitely going to enjoy this one if you put the time in and watch it. Tell me what your favorite character on the show is if you have watched it. Let's try not to get into spoilers too much in the comments, and if you are going to leave a spoiler, please let people know that you're going to spoil. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.